just can't shake it. Welcome back to Karandrin role playing. This is episode 54 of Brise's Tale. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir. I will be your host and game master for tonight while we watch Brise try to get out of yet another jam, and quite a serious jam it is tonight. As always, my buddy Max is here to play Brees. Max, say hello to the lovely people, and let's see if we can get Brees out of this jam.
Hi everybody. Yeah, that's a good one. Get Brees out of a jam. Yeah, it's never happened before, but you know what? We'll try anyway. What is it? Episode 54. We'll try.
That's right.
Hope you're
Uh,
having a good night and ready for some fun.
yeah, quite a lot happened. One of our better streams, I think, was episode 53, in which we had the death and likely murder of Adabir. Um, so, um, involved in this whole deal with trying to free Kralum and defeat Verlag and all of this kind of stuff. Adabir has been one of the biggest resources we've had. Renowned apparently as a demonologist and someone who wanted to turn the power of demons to good. Um, Unfortunately, it did not turn out that way, and he was found just incinerated in his room at in Lady Miagral's keep, which is another serious um, serious complication of all of this because you don't do this kind of thing in Lady Miagral's in any sort of noble person's keep, because it's an affront to them. It suggests that they can be gotten to as well, and now basically everybody that was part of Adabir's entourage is now under house arrest. And Max, what is the main suspicion? What do we suspect happened
So
to?
Fraldrum is the freaking smartest person I've ever met, and she has the theory that Kralum somehow knew about our plan to drain him of his power, which he hadn't known. I tried to keep that information from him, and in figuring that out, managed to destroy Adabir by opening one of Verilag's tomes, which I can safely open because I have her essence, kind of part of her soul, stored in me, which we also learned about in that last session. But any other person who opens it will be visited by a nasty surprise. So
Yeah, we
that's what
we
we think.
right. That's our guess, and we knew that. We knew that powerful tomes wielded by powerful people are often guarded by their owners, and there's some sort of booby trap set on them if anyone but the owner or other people who have sort of been exempted out of it, whitelisted, I guess would be the term we would use now.
Yeah.
Um, Whitelisted against the black magic, but there'd be some sort of protective spell on there, and apparently there was, and it just, um, despite Adabir's power, despite whatever magical enchantments he had on him at the time, working with the tome, it left barely anything left of him. So now basically there's a court murder of a prominent guest. And this also comes on the heels of two wizards visiting Adabir, and Adabir lying and accusing them of being spies. And so now, of course, what is Lady Miagral to think other than, clearly these two spies must have been the murderer, though we know they're not spies. Lady Miagral doesn't. And since she has an antagonistic neighbor to the west, to the east, Lord Algaret, then of course the fear is that her mind is going to jump to Lord Algaret as instigating this atrocity and it may lead to actual armed conflict between the two counties.
Brise starts a war. Awesome.
Next, on Karandrin, Brise starts a war.
I just.
Oh no, your audio cut out. Did you kick something? Oh my God. That's right. While he works on that, we'll touch on a few other matters. No, that's not it. We can't hear you, buddy. But that's weird. I swear I hear you clicking, but I can't hear you speaking. No, I can't hear anything. So like we said, Lady Meagral, we don't know exactly what she thinks. Fraudrum has said just flatly that she is going to make it her main goal to try to prevent war between Algrit and Meagral. Whether that will work or not, I don't know. And we don't know, and whether Fraudrum will keep her position or not, given that she's allowed this to happen under her own roof, is another serious question, particularly given that Fraudrum seems very intent on helping Brise and very kind. So this is the weirdest technical thing we've got going on here. Do you have a suggestion you want to type to me, buddy?
There we go.
There you are.
No, sorry. We had 30 straight minutes of my USB ports not malfunctioning, but I think I bumped one of them and it screwed up. So my microphone is now in the better port, so hopefully it won't lose audio. Right. But I may have to take some mental notes if my keyboard goes offline. Sorry about that, everyone.
No, it's fine. I'm if there's one thing I'm good at, it's filling dead air. It's also fouling dead air. I'm also great at that.
I mean, it's just Meagral's already started, on basically disabling any of our abilities to.
This is
take notes.
She's launched a virus attack against you. So that's where we are. We ended in the early evening. One of Adabir's apprentices went up and saw the gore that was left by the attack, and he's a shattered man now. Burlow, his longtime butler, the Adabir's longtime butler, is just heartbroken. Was inconsolable. And so people are just now basically being sequestered to their quarters. Everyone is under guard. The castle's on high alert in case this is a precursor to something worse. And now that's where we are. So let's just the guards come in. They take Burlow away. They bring a larger amount of food for you. They ask if you need anything.
What's his face?
Burlow.
Burlow had touched me a few times, and he has the ash on his hands from past years. I need to take a bath, or if they could bring me some hot water or something. I'm pretty cleanly too, and I do not want to be covered in dead man grease.
Yeah. The two guards look at each other. They nod. They say, they'll bring you. If you want to grab your clothes, they'll escort you down to the bath, and then they'll have a servant, help you bathe. A female servant, obviously.
Yeah. No, I would actually like that a lot. Probably a hot bath would be a good way to relax too after this crazy days.
So,
we always will give full detail of Brise taking a bath.
As we always do. That's
Present the
right.
special artwork of designed by Elliot Dunham.
Yes, Elliot can crank us out a few pieces.
Oh my gosh, we should have like people who donate money and then
Oh no! Don't start us down that line.
we're desperate, man. We need viewers.
We do. You're not desperate. I'm desperate. You're a-okay. Uh, um,
Oh, okay.
so so they escort you down, and they nothing feels untoward. Um, that's what I was going to roll for. um, so as you're escorted down to the baths, which are on the first floor, um, you are stopped by one of Fraldrum's apprentices. This is the female gray elf, Wenia, and she sort of waves away the guards. She says, I'll take her from here. Why don't you let's do our intuition roll on her. What's your gut
How do I
feeling on
feel
her?
about this lady? Is it 21?
Hard to read. She's sort of very stoic. But there is a softness to her. Roll again.
67.
There's a weird comfort you have in her presence, maybe from that sort of soft impression that she gives off. There's just sort of a softness to her face. Of course, she has, some of the beauty of the elves, and she walks you, toward the toward the baths, and says, I would have a word with you at the request of Fraldrum.
I'll say I've talked quite a lot today, but I understand if you need to talk some more. Go on.
My master is being interrogated by Lady Munagral at this very moment, trying to figure out how such a thing could possibly happen in one of the most well-respected houses in all of the Goblin Nation. So I am here to implore you, if there's anything you've not told us, anything that could save my master's position.
I mean,
then now would be the time.
I believe that is a big fat no, because last session I rolled how much I trusted Fraldrin with information, and I think I pretty much rolled 100, so I ended up just telling her everything. Yeah.
Right.
I'm reading right here. So I described Verilag to her. I described prison. I described my connection. I mean, yeah, I described the council that Plesh and Faldrum are Plesh and Falrenar, sorry, are not affiliated with Algrit. Yeah, no, I can't really think of anything. I might just say that, I say to her that I told Fraldrum all I could. I hope perhaps the two wizards and, well, the two wizards in their, their gathering of their quote unquote council, I hope they could provide some justification as well, so that they're not allied with Algrit. I think they would be a good resource. Is all. Yeah.
Fraldrum has been again to the Eagles to seek the wizards.
Right.
Korakyle, their lord, has said he has no knowledge of the whereabouts of the two wizards that visited.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to know where they are.
So I guess I would say, yeah, no, it wouldn't. Yeah, no. I don't know if it would make sense to say there. I could possibly, because they might show up at the keep, but yeah, I don't know that necessarily.
Your goblin servant approaches the female who's going to help you bathe.
Right.
She nods and passes by and tells you that she'll be waiting in the bathroom for you. She passes by. You guys obviously fall silent. Winia steps closer to you, and she says, "Have you heard that I can see the future?"
No, I don't think so.
Is
that well? Hold on. Before, is that like tall tale, or have I heard of wizards who can do that? Or how much should I trust that?
seers like Plesh are very sought after because they do have the ability to see the future.
Okay. So
So she's either got a unique art in that way, a magic item in that way, or she herself is a seer.
right. So I mean, I'll counter with, oh, so you're a seer then?
I am.
Okay.
Not as accomplished as Master Plesh. Nowhere near as accomplished. But I have cast my arts forward, and the future paths that lay before us are varied, multiple, and some lead to war throughout the Four Lands.
Well, that's pretty expected of Karandrin. So,
So you suppress a yawn? Is that what you're telling me?
yeah, tell me something new. Wow, war in the Four Lands. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's bigger scale than anything I would have thought of. So I just say, well, this is much more serious than even just, Miagral's Keep in Malabry. Then.
What do you know of the wizard who visited named Falramar?
Well, I know that she is extremely powerful, and a skilled. I observed her silent cast on multiple occasions. My intuition of Falrenar was that she seems a little self-serving toward her ambitions.
Mm-hmm. You remember she has a reputation for integrity.
Yes, though she does have reputation for, which I guess means integrity. It's kind of abstract.
Integrity means she will not violate her principles for self-gain.
Right. Okay. Yeah, she's principled and
right. And so she has principles and she won't sacrifice them. So remember, she burned bridges in all of the Elven states. Like she can't get a job now in the Elven
states. Yeah.
Because she's, and it was something that she felt was immoral, is the story at least.
Yes. Yeah, I just had that part in my notes.
Yeah. that she said you can go to hell,
Right.
and burned her lab to the ground. Destroyed part of the noble's estate,
Right.
and fought guards and so on, and left. And now she's banned from the Element States, which is hard to ban someone who can teleport. Granted, um, but no one will have anything to do with her. Even some, it would suggest that even some magic dealers and powerful individuals won't have anything to do with her because they can't afford word to get back to an elven noble, and it compromised their position.
Right.
Um, so, um,
Yeah.
so
So yeah, I just tell her that information, basically that she's very just, and will not stoop to violate her principles. Seems like someone who can be trusted to do the right thing, um, which is good for someone as powerful as her.
and a rarity. My visions tell me that she is key to
Oh.
avoiding the worst of the outcomes. Is there any means you have of contacting her? And I can only assure you that this is not a trap. And I give you my staff if that's what it takes to convince you.
Wow. Okay. She's really intent. I mean, I say that I've spoke with the Eagles, several times, but in every time they have come to me. So unless we're to hunt them down, I would need to wait until they come here. Now, I do say that I'll bring up that um, they did say they would try to come back here at some point and communicate with me, um, even despite all that's gone down at the keep.
They
So
plan
perhaps
on returning.
in secret, yes,
They may find that harder to do now.
exactly. Lunar is key. Should I mention that my memory was duplicated by Plesh? I don't know if that really matters. I guess I'm still, one thing I'm afraid of, speaking out of character, is that if I give her information about them and that somehow gets in Miagral's hands, she might act rashly. So that's what I don't really want to say stuff I don't have to. So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, and they're sort of generally, I mean, it's kind of weird because anything you say um, puts someone's well-being at risk.
right. But what I'm saying is that would prefer to say things that put them in a better light. So if that gets overheard by spies or makes its way to Miagral, then
Right.
so I'll leave out that they do have a copy of my memory. They're acting on their own.
Sure. They sort of have an
Right.
impression of your psyche that would allow them entry
Right.
into Kralum's prison.
Right. Right. That's what
Um,
happened a couple of sessions ago. But all I say for now is that yeah, they will try to visit again. How that will function, I'm not sure.
they cannot be caught because they will be executed if they come through subterfuge.
Hmm.
What is the eagle's relationship to the two wizards that visited?
They seem to. Well, Korokal leads a group of them, as well as a few other wizards and beings. It seems to, I guess, Well, yeah, what would be the way to describe the council? Because we mentioned it, like,
Korakal, they advise Korakal.
oh, that's what it's right, right. It feels like it's been like a month since I played. I don't know why. Right. So I described that. Korakal leads them, and they advise him on the goings on of the land and various magical events.
Who else is in this group?
So I mentioned Dinamemru, who is a um, tree. I guess is there a tree spirit? I can't remember. Call them Ents.
Tree folk or Ent, yeah.
Tree folk, yeah. Very wise, very kind, and old tree folk.
Dinamimru is known to us.
Okay. And the other two, there's Oshekra.
She looks at you very curiously. Shekra advises the eagles.
Seems that way. I don't trust him either.
He is a renegade and a fool.
Right.
Who else?
So there's one more. Give me a moment to look through my notes.
Oh, there's Nunya. Have you ever thought of Nunya?
Nunya Javik, a high woman who don't know too much about.
She smiles and says, very few people will ever truly know Javik.
Because I am Javik.
That's right.
Okay, well, I'm glad you recognize all the names. That probably makes.
That's true. It's weird, right? She, plus she knew. I gave her a bonus because they're both seers, and so
right.
And all the others were straight up rolls that she knew them.
Wow.
And so 86 for Oshekra, 70 something for Dinamimru, and Javik, you don't want to know how high I rolled.
That's Javik is. That's what I'm saying.
Miagral is Javik.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah.
Javik is a great and gentle source of good in this world. If she will vouch for the two wizards, then that could go a long way in easing Miagral's mind. You've been helpful.
Can I take my bath now, please?
You can.
All right.
She bows to you very deeply. She has. Why don't you give me a roll here? You've had a conversation with her now. Let's see what the impression is of her.
84.
She's very much. I mean, she's very much pleased and thank you. She's very much. She's believes very much in propriety. You generally have a feeling that she is definitely one of the good ones.
I was curious about when she said offer me her staff. Was that like a literal thing, or was that kind of an expression?
She extended it towards you.
Wow.
Like, I'll be without my staff. You can have like one of the greatest items that I rely on.
Right.
If it means, I'm willing to put that on the table.
Right. Hey, Bunny with Beans. Colon, good vibes, colon.
My colon rarely has good vibes. I have to say, it's not. It's so. Is there anything you want to ask her before she goes? One of these sort of, touch her on the shoulder before she turns away. I know it's hard to play that naturally in role playing so much. Funny, funny.
Yeah, I don't, I just, I might ask real quick about the other apprentices. I've spoken with, just kind of ask her how are the other apprentices, dealing with it. All the information, Fraldrum's, apprentices. I hope everyone is on the same page with, or on the same side.
Batherin remains unconscious.
No, I was talking about Fraldrum's apprentices.
How they're
Curious about
doing.
how they're viewing the matter, if they're on the same page.
I'm not sure what you're asking exactly.
I'm just kind of getting an opinion of the other apprentices. Are other apprentices going to approach me, with their own? I was
I
curious to know if that
see.
might be a possibility.
You want to ask her if she can, if you can expect visits from the others as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
They have other duties at the moment.
Okay.
Primary among them, seeing to it that those two wizards do not re-enter the castle.
Okay.
Even as we speak, enchantments are now being reinforced and increased in power.
Right.
And given that they were cast by my master and not by us, that is a life-threatening job for an apprentice.
Okay.
She pauses, she looks at you. She steps forward again and leans very close into you and says, "Tell your friends not to use the front gate. Invisible or not, there are now circles there that will kill them." And she looks around to make sure she wasn't overheard. And she turns and leaves.
Well, okay.
So that's an interesting, it's an interesting thing for her to tell you, to trust you with.
Yeah. Right. It's definitely in good faith, she is on my side.
Well, and she doesn't want harm to come to anybody.
Right.
Now, whether that's professional pride, like, hey, Plush is one of mine, or not. Of course, the other thing is if Faramar is key to this and she gets killed, I guess there's some logic to her saying this. She leaves. You have an amazing, relaxing bath from which you have to be woken several times. You had no idea how exhausted you were. But I rolled double aught for how much you enjoyed the bath.
Nice.
And you find
10 experience points.
That's right. But you find yourself, like, because you can let go, right? Like, you then just start breaking down and just crying.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because it's just so much on you right now. And there's so much pressure. And now Adabir is dead and you feel responsible for that, even though you had nothing to do with that. It's like, if it wasn't for my problem, he wouldn't have been involved at all.
Right. Told him not to open the books.
Right.
Open the books.
And you find, when you break down, this goblin, and of course you like goblins, she comes over and she just kind of grips you and lets you cry. Um, so you find yourself exhausted afterward. You dress, but you're definitely ready to collapse.
Yeah.
You go back to your room. You find yourself starved, but there's food there. Um, and she asks if she can reheat it for you. You're like, no, and you just eat a ton of food, and just pass out.
Okay. Is it possible during all of this that I could have hung? What's his face? I'm sorry, Nalkarth, right? He should have been hanging up.
He's still hanging, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know I would like to be up there just in case,
Yeah.
So, okay. But I collapse and just have some good sleep. And I forgot, I'm still kind of sickly feeling. Hopefully tomorrow I'll feel a little better.
So you pass out.
Okay.
And you dream of your parents.
Oh yeah.
And they're comforting you, and they're trying to give you advice about this sort of vague big problem.
Right.
And they say, whenever you need help, remember that it's times like this you should turn to greater powers. And the Iron Empress walks up.
Oh no.
And she says, I'm still here for you. That staff would have made a lovely offering to seal our deal, to seal our union as God and follower.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right. Well, I will. I don't know how shocked I am right now, but I remember from talking with I believe talking with one of the priests from a local temple that she's kind of peering into my mind to create these images. And I just say it's like your power is an unholy power, and all these are just illusions you're creating in my mind.
Roll for me.
Your assistance 75.
Your parents look at you concerned, and then look at the Iron Empress in anger. And they grab her and pull her away from you.
Oh my gosh.
And as they're struggling with her, they call to you, telling you that they know that you're going to try to do the right thing, that it may be difficult, but they have faith in you. That everything you're going through, is put on you for a reason, and maybe that reason is you're the person to solve this. And they struggle with her until they sort of go beyond into a mist.
Wow.
And you kind of wake up, and you feel sort of weirdly more at peace about that issue than you ever have.
Wow.
Like you're like, I'm not afraid of that dagger wielding bitch anymore.
All right.
You know, um, and if she's the next, you know, demon whore I have to take down, then bring it on.
Wouldn't be the last.
It's Karandrin.
Oh gosh, very cool. That's pretty awesome.
See what point in the morning it is. It can't be that early. That's ridiculous. Can't be that early. That's only 2 higher. Give me a better roll. Thank you. It's before dawn, but you don't feel like going to sleep. You're tired, but you want this feeling to last.
Yeah.
And you just sort of sit up and stoke the fire in your room, and you know, you call down for some tea, and you just sit by the fire bundled up and just sort of luxuriate in this sort of moment of peace, right?
Yeah.
Huh. So it occurs to you that part of that dream, although you don't put a huge amount of stock in dreams, what it sort of showed you, purposefully, fatefully, or not, is that your parents' example was they took things in their own hands and wrestled her to the ground, right? Pulled her away from you.
Yeah.
And for reasons that are understandable, you've not done that in your own situation, right? You've had to let other people act for you because of their expertise.
Right. Right.
But in terms of right and wrong, and whether someone should be punished for something they didn't do, you tell yourself, I do have the expertise in that, right? I'm supposed to be a servant of my God. Well, of
Right.
all the gods, about the whole pantheon, Oxir in particular,
Right.
and that no one's going to have to fall on a sword for you. That you will go in these situations, and you will, you're not going to let someone else's head be on the block. That you're not going to be passive when it comes to matters of someone else taking a blow for you, which may be what Fraudrum is going to do, right?
Right.
Okay. And so it leans you toward the question of how to do that. But when you have to work through secondaries, or you have to work, at a distance, right, at a remote from a situation, because of expertise, you're fine with that. You can't know everything. Adabir should have taken the lead and all of that kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
But Fraudrum being blamed for something, when you can have a voice in that and say, no, if there's anyone to blame, it's me, right? Then that is something where, at least in matters of right and wrong, where you can directly intervene, you're going to directly intervene. Because you've seen Adabir take the blow, and he was willing to take the blow. Now Fraudrum's up next.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting realization to come to.
So you just sort of sit up until dawn. You feel like you're getting over your creepy crud.
COVID.
Yeah, you're feeling physically better. You're feeling emotionally. You're tired. You're weary. But you feel sort of more peaceful and more resolute.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, you're not going to be allowed to leave until you're allowed to leave.
Mhm.
But um, I wonder if you would. I mean, huh, I don't guess you yet. You probably don't feel comfortable enough to now for toward Nalkarth to um, approach him for um, advice or anything. But we had to do a caption for Nalkarth.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, so I think, is it too rash to even try to request an audience with Mia Grawl? Is that maybe too going
I
too
think as
far?
strongly as you feel about this matter, I think that's fine.
Right, try to vouch for Fraldrim. Okay. Um, yeah, this is weird though. The thing I want to avoid is getting in a situation where I have to tell Mia
Reveal more. Yeah.
right about Kralum and Verilag, because now a noble knows about all this stuff that should be kept under wraps, and that's going to start changing history.
Well,
um,
and the thing is, though, sort of sort of in the same vein as this realization is, you're no longer going to, what's the word? I mean, pussyfoot around. When someone asks you about something that will endanger them, you're going to say, I cannot tell you to put you at risk.
True.
And that is my final word on the matter.
That's true. Yeah.
As opposed to trying to do it diplomatically,
Right.
you're like, I'm going to be much more forthright about you. Not only can I not tell you, because it would
Yeah.
endanger you, as a matter of integrity, I will not tell you.
Right. Until they reveal they're a seer, and then I can't do anything. But um,
Right.
yeah, like Flash. All right, I think that is a good. Um, yeah, I can definitely. Let's try to do that then. We'll try to see what's on the agenda for today and see if I'm allowed to,
Well,
seek
I mean, and
advice.
it's very early morning. I mean, you can send word now and maybe preempt some stuff.
Okay, yeah, let's try that. Um, um, yeah, let me write down some. So doing that, I might also, based on my personality, kind of quick to comfort people. I might check on Burla and just so he see how he's doing, just out of compassion.
They will send word to Mia Grawl saying that you're demanding to speak with her on a matter of utmost importance,
Okay.
and but um, they cannot allow you to speak with any of the other guests.
Okay.
That's the orders they are under.
All right.
Now, here, keep in mind, and it's weird. I don't know why it happens in role playing, but it does for everybody, myself included, when I play role playing. Someone tells you something, you take it as the final word. Don't.
Well,
Push
normally I
the
wouldn't,
point.
but this is a house full of guards. I don't know.
Well, push the point gently. Try to persuade,
Okay.
seduce, bribe.
Yeah.
Right?
True. True. Yeah.
Magic.
Um,
I don't know if you have magic that can convince people,
yeah.
but anything, you know.
I definitely try to press it a little bit. It's like I just want to check on Burla and make sure he has company at least for a little while. Seems a bit cruel to leave someone like that in the room that long. He was the closest, to Adabir.
And you kind of use your knowledge of goblins, right? You make fun of him, he makes fun of you, right? You sort of try to get that rapport going, um, and it works.
Nice. Okay.
He's like, "All right, I'll give you a few minutes, but I'm going to be in the room, and if I see anything funny, you know, then the meeting's over and you've burned a bridge."
All right. Yeah. Goblin's honor. They don't have any.
Well, that's the thing is they're super loyal to
Right.
who they like, right? And so it's one of the things about getting on their good side is, you know, they will stand up. They certainly are very outspoken, which
Mhm.
is sort of their part of their witticism and part of their very social nature,
Right.
right? They like to bust your chops before things go to blood, but they'll keep pushing it, you know. Um, so you're escorted downstairs to his room. Um, um, or I guess they probably wait till they know when he's awake. So probably not immediately they want to escort you.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense. I forget how early it is. Um, so while you're waiting, um, you know, dawn emerges.
Hey,
Uh,
Don.
they
Good to see you.
you can smell the cooking down in the kitchens. Food is brought up to you. Um, you find yourself just voracious, like you're just eating before a battle. I mean, you're like, while the food you don't care about what you're eating, you just feel like this is just fuel for
Right.
what needs to be done.
Right.
And so you just you really you sort of eat with a relish, knowing that this is a way of sort of increasing your power in a sense.
Hmm.
Uh, and and soon after you finish, um, a servant um, approaches and knocks on the door and says, "You've been granted an immediate audience with Mia Grawl."
Oh, I don't have time to dress. I
And
mean, I do have time to dress.
you were told specifically, I mean, like that your morning ablutions can be skipped and it will be respected. You are to come now.
Okay. Damn. All right. That's okay.
And I think that would be a fun point for a break.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So guys, we're going to stretch our legs and refill our drinks. We hope you do the same, and we'll be right back with you in just a few minutes. Hang in there and go get you some beer and whatnot. And we will be right back and see what happens with a direct discussion with the lady of the county. Um, and um, and we'll see what goes down there. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. We appreciate it.
Oops.
So yeah, we have had some interesting times here. Brise has
Yeah,
just been summoned.
to another dimension.
Mention.
I mean, can I say, please, a minute? I just need to make sure I have nothing on my teeth and fix my hair. I'd be very distraught if I appeared before her. And
As quickly as you can, my lady.
all right. I mean, are there any mirrors anywhere else besides my room? And closest what I can get to, just to, like, literally.
Sure. Well, just roll. Roll how quickly you get ready, really, is the question.
37.
So yeah, you're uncomfortable, but there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
um, so I need to. How funny would it be if of all of these characters I've created in the database, I've forgotten to do Mia Girl? That would be funny. I have not. There she is.
Yeah.
Um, um, all right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have an interesting plan to talk with Mia Grawl.
Sort of a strategy here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but we'll see.
So you are led into the main keep,
Which
and
I don't think I've been to yet, or have I? Because I know I saw Mia Grawl once before. So.
your big dinners are in the main keep. Your lunches
Okay.
and things like that.
Okay.
They are off of the main hall, where
Right.
her throne room would be in the main hall. Where she dispenses justice, and it's right. It's literally where we get the word court, right?
Yeah.
Kings would hold court to
Right.
dispense justice.
Right.
Um, so um, um, so you are led sort of toward the great hall, but you sort of go through these side passages and so on, and then you go many floors up. And you could spend hours here in these upper chambers looking at all the sculpture.
Wow.
It is really impressive. Um, she apparently, based on your knowledge, it looks like she really held on to a lot of the elven stuff she could find. And so a lot of it is religious. Primarily two topics for sculpture, in this type of era is going to be religious or historical.
Right.
Not a lot of sort of art for the purpose of art. And so, but here are clearly depictions of, the pantheon gods and so on. I actually gave a name to the pantheon, so we would have an adjective used for that type of believer, but now I can't remember it. It's just fantastic. And so you go through these sort of doors so these long halls that open that go along the outside of buildings. And so you've got natural light just flooding in, falling upon the statuary. And then there's, room after room after room. And you assume they're guest rooms, ballrooms, who knows? Massive tapestries. It really is. It really is a not just a showcase, but a wonder case. You go up yet another flight. You're either on the third or fourth floor now. You've sort of lost count in a sense of wonder. And you were brought to what is clearly the private chambers
Wow.
of Lady Meogrel. You enter into a sitting room. There's pretty well no question that the cloth-footed furniture here is mithril.
Uh-huh.
She sits with her back to you, facing a room beyond, which is her bedroom. The bed's still unmade.
Hmm.
There is an uneaten breakfast behind her in front of you. And it is a breakfast for one, you note, which means they either.
Mr. Meogrel.
That's right. So she, her back is to you. She's in her sleeping gown, and a servant is brushing the very thin goblin hair that falls. Their hair falls more from the top of the head than do the orcs.
Right.
And you walk in, and you know well enough not to sit until asked to be seated. So she turns barely to acknowledge you. And says, "You're a bold little thing. Be seated and we'll talk in a moment."
As you wish. Your Majesty. I can't remember if we agreed on what the proper terminology is. Assume we use it.
Your lady, yeah. I mean, my lady, your ladyship, that would work. Majesty is probably reserved for the queen, yeah. And it is a queen that rules Nargaz.
Right.
They just brush hair, and you just sit there like, oh Lord, you know.
Okay.
The chair is just silky and sumptuous that you're sitting in. Meogrel picks up a mirror and says, "That's fine, thank you," and reaches and puts on the gold tiara of her family line. It has these enormous sapphires. And then she reaches and puts on the gold ring of her family, which is has a massive sapphire surrounded by tiny diamonds. And she simply sort of rotates in this sort of like a ottoman, and she simply rotates, and doesn't even look at you. She sips her tea. She butters some toast. Roll for me.
Woo, 44.
You wonder if this is meant to shake you up.
Yeah.
Or, no, this is how she treats everybody. It's tough to know.
Right.
So she sets her tea down. Exactly. You should get that cough checked. And she then she raises her eyes to you. Roll for me.
22.
Don't know what to make of her. Like, don't know if this is going to be, she's going to toy with you and manipulate, or if she's going to be direct. You get no sense of it.
So I need to be very careful what I say here.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be true anytime you're facing a noble.
Yeah.
Because I can't, it's, a lot of looser sort of role-playing games, this would be the time where the funny player, I'm just going to smart off and all that kind of stuff. And I can't stand that sort of stuff in these sorts of situations, because it would be so you were raised to revere these individuals, literally to believe that they're better than you.
Right.
and there's just no way you would do it. There's no way you could bring yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, there is a sense of awe that you feel toward her and toward everything she's accomplished. She says, "What can I do for you?"
Well, I start off with saying,
Heifer, you best be letting my friend go.
please, there is a reason the Eagles, harassed the keep these days ago, how many days ago it was, and that is because the Wizards, Flash and Farinar, are innocent and not associated with Algrit. And so I came to vouch for them and for um, Fraldrim because I couldn't, bear to see any type of punishment laid on them.
How do you come to know this?
Well, I have spoken with the two wizards, and I see now I'm like freezing up. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. I tell her that I've spoken with the wizards, and they had um, all intent to help with what was going on, Adabir's research. Um, and do I mention that Flesh? Yeah, I mean, because he would be well known.
Well,
Wait,
if he was well known enough, this wouldn't be an issue, right?
true, true. So it's probably the magicians know who Plesh is, but me and Girl might not. So okay,
Right.
my mouth shut there. Yeah. Um, and I say I hope Fraldrim and the others have vouched for them as well. They are good, good people, who use their magic um, for good causes.
For, right.
Right, for just causes. And I say, especially Balrinoir.
Child, how do you know you simply weren't under some enchantment, some force of conviction to convince you that these two interlopers were well meaning? You come here to my breakfast room with very little evidence. I admire your loyalty to people you believe are your friends.
Mm.
I value that. But I don't share my breakfast table for stories.
Is there anything else?
There is something that Fraldrum and Adabir will not tell me. Which I expect from wizards. They have their own plans, and no doubt there are things that I don't need to know because it really doesn't concern me. Some potion that they wish to invent, some rite they wish to perfect. I don't care. But Adabir was a friend, and someone has slain him under my roof. So it wasn't some little potion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to. This is really tough. If I were to say that Adabir was, kind of working under her nose on something else, and that the other wizards were trying to intervene.
Well, she was. I mean, she certainly seems content with that fact, right? She knows it's a. When she makes a deal with
Oh,
Frau,
I see. Sure, that they are.
right? It's like, look, I need resources for my project,
Right.
and I need
Right.
a place that's protected. Your guards and your castle will do great for both of those roles.
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, so I'm doing my own thing also. You're going to give me space and protection to do my own thing. But I'm going to do, to my ability, I'm going to do what you need. And if you have long term magical goals and general
Right.
magical advice, then I am here
Right.
for you.
So yeah, I mean, I can't really press that point.
Right. So she understands that relationship clearly. But she's no slouch,
Right.
and she senses that something major has been held back from her. Now, again, um,
Again, it's just I'm dealing with someone who's like so smart. I feel like I could say things to sway her, but she like knows. She's known Adabir longer than me. She's known Fraldrum longer than me. Yeah.
but again, this isn't about what you know or don't know.
It's
This
about making sure people don't take blame for.
and that they know where you stand. Right? I mean,
Right. Right. So I mean,
so
honestly, I guess. Go ahead.
I was going to say this is sort of one of those in this sort of a player problem that I think has existed forever, which is um, no one ever wants to be forthright
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Look, these are the cards, and if you don't like them, I'm sorry, but these are the cards."
Right.
And that is, I cannot tell you without endangering you. Therefore, I will not tell you.
Right. Right.
Right?
And that's what I was thinking of is all I need to do is say, despite, what it looks like, I put my faith in Fraldrum and the others, and, ask you not to blame them. So, so I tell her, um, I mean, yeah, I just tell her that it's like, despite what it looks like, I just, um, have to say it in my good conscience that the two wizards and Fraldrim have the best interests in mind, and I do
Her
stand by
best interest.
right her best interest and the best interest, and I have to stand by them.
It's interesting that you don't mention the degree of danger we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just worried about Brise. I don't want to be locked up in a dungeon. I'm afraid of.
I mean, you should be afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and your character would be afraid. I mean, there's no question about it.
Right.
This
Right.
is, I mean, this is all or nothing, and it is. Oh, hey, our pen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Given what we said about, that that the whole point is trying to, shift the blame from Fraldrim and the others. I just, I would allude to that, what they are dealing with is, something very dangerous that.
I'm curious. Uh, what does Brise think is at stake? I'm curious. Like,
Her life.
no, I mean with the big picture. What's at stake? Like, have you, Max and Brise, come to terms with what happens if you fail?
See, here's an argument I make is that no, I haven't. But Brise is what? She's 16, right?
Right, but she's not a 16-year-old like you've met. Remember that modern
Right.
adolescence did not exist. Did you know? Did you know this?
What?
Adolescence as a concept did not exist until
No, I'm just saying someone of 16 when I was 16 and I thought, the world was going to end. I don't know. It was hard for me to conceptualize. I feel like maybe
yes,
Brees doesn't have a
I'm
grasp on that or,
sure, but you certainly have the words for it, right? Even if you don't really feel their weight.
yeah, I
I
guess.
mean, it's certainly likely that in the next 20 years, Nargaz itself will no longer exist.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard for both Brees and me
Yeah.
to rationalize.
I
So,
mean, and then of course, Verlag will begin working on um, destroying the other nations. Not destroying, she hasn't mentioned destroying, subsuming them under her reign.
right. Okay. Yeah, that's hard. It's really hard to get that across, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being like,
To yourself, you know.
yeah, or just too worried about my character, I mean, so with that in mind, I mean, I do want to mention that, it would make sense to mention, the degree of danger, and that, her punishing, Fraldrum and keeping away Faronar and the others will, only worsen things. Um, so yeah, so I mean, I mentioned that, um, what they're trying to accomplish is something that needs to be done.
That's how
Something,
you
no,
word
that's
it, huh?
not the right way to say it.
It's
I should
a
write this
major
down.
errand that they are running.
Extremely important,
It's,
crucial.
I mean, do you want this etouffee to turn out creamy or not? Is what I'm asking you.
Espresso needs to be delivered.
It's,
Um, um, I don't know. I feel like I started off the wrong way.
how about
The danger of what Fraldrim and Faranar and Plesh are dealing with is inconceivable. And
melee your county?
yes, in
Lay waste to countless lives?
yeah, I guess.
I mean, you choose whichever one you.
Okay. I don't know why it's so weird to like talk about this. What they're dealing with is, um, inconceivable.
They or we,
What Farnar and
but not you.
Fraldrim
But not you.
and I guess me. I don't know. This is really hard, Kevin. You're
It's
making me
really
talk to
interesting.
really high level, dangerous people. Oh
Oh,
my god.
it's well, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, look, you're not going to be killed. There's no reason to kill you.
What? Yes, there is.
There's not a reason to kill you that they know of,
Okay.
that she knows of. An imprisonment in a very beautiful tower, quite possibly. I mean, that is,
I
you
don't
know,
want that to happen to Breeze.
I don't particularly want it either.
Okay. Let me gather my thoughts.
Well, you concentrate. So
You
yeah,
just keep
just to,
talking.
yeah, you concentrate, and I'm gonna talk to the audience. Just a reminder for anyone who is new to the cast, new to the stream. Verlag is an ancient queen and sorceress, wizard. We use those terms all interchangeably because we don't use class here really, with very few exceptions. That is, it's behind the scenes stuff. So she trapped Kralum, a demon lord, and we mean a realm lord, which means essentially the Satan of his world, and sapped his power and used that to begin making an empire, and actually destroyed the Dwarven Empire that used to occupy these lands. And again, that was 5,000 years ago. Before the Dwarven nation's fall, its last king was able to imprison through alliance of nations and powerful sorceries, was able to imprison Verilag herself, ending her reign of terror, but also leaving Kralum the demon trapped in the prison that Verilag set. Brise inadvertently cracked the door of that prison, allowing Verilag to sort of piggyback onto her, onto Brise, and gain access again to the world, although not fully. She does not have her full reign of power back. She is, we've seen her do things like hurl entire homes and things like that, but we know that she's capable of much more.
It's only 1% of my power.
That's right. And so that's what's at stake. And we know in the last stream, we suspect that Kralum, who can take the form, can occupy small animals and interact in the world. He has really no other ability. He can speak through them as well. Kralum realized, overheard the fact that Brise has not really been totally honest, and now that's why we suspect he killed Adabir.
In the way I describe this danger to me, Grawl, is that the danger of what me, Fraldrum, Plesh, and Falrenar are working against is inconceivable, and if left unchecked, could cause the destruction of countless lives. So that's what I tell her. Straightest face I can manage after.
Roll for me.
29.
For the first time, you sort of see this facade crack a little bit. And she goes, "You believe what you're saying."
Like hell I do.
Why would they not come to me with this knowledge?
Because they do not wish to endanger more people with dangerous knowledge.
Roll for me.
75.
And you add, because force of arms is useless against this threat.
Sure. This is a magician's, wizard's problem, really.
She regards you for a long moment. She drinks her tea, looks into the cup, swirls it around. She sighs and says, "I like you. But I don't know yet if I can trust you."
I'm assuming I should just wait for her to ask me a question. I'm not gonna.
No, I understand.
Interject. Noble sentence. Hold that thought, Mia girl.
If it's within your power, and I will be telling the same to Fraldrum, tell the two wizards that violated my trust, that visited my keep, that if they present themselves before my gates, they will be unharmed, and I will grant them a full hearing.
I'm gonna just get a quick read on her about that.
Sure.
16. Okay.
You know what? Given your history.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you. Oh, first of all, miracle roll. Secondly, I'll give you another roll though before you do your miracle roll.
Okay. No, yes. Let me just roll that again and see if changes 13. Okay.
All right, miracle roll. Is there
um,
anyone? And I would prefer no suggestions for the miracle roll from the chat. Um,
don't listen to him. I need.
you just post
Oh,
your phone number. You just type your phone number into the. I hear your phone going off like crazy. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
yeah. I don't know how.
You get a burner phone just for role playing. How hilarious would that be?
Let's message people to give suggestions. Yeah. I mean, I guess with this current role, it would be like I don't trust her. I think that she's trying to connive something
Well, I
else.
mean, a trap. I mean, you're
Yeah.
no. I mean, I think right now you just don't have a read on her at all.
Right.
She is so polished,
Right.
and she's an old hand at this. You know,
Oh. I mean, I was thinking I could. I don't want to allude to what traps are at the gates, right? Because then that.
yeah, I would. You would violate somebody's trust doing that.
Yeah. So.
But remember that such things can be turned off, just as you can cancel a spell.
No, sure, but that's what I mean is like to imply to, yeah, I mean to ask her if it's really truthful. Um,
You notice that she didn't say, before my court. She said before the gates, which just means within sight of the gates to announce themselves.
okay.
That is what that means.
Right. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. Part of me, I mean, part of me thinks that Farnar and Plesh are going to be all right on their own, being such powerful wizards.
I mean, yes, I don't. Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I think you're mistaking the problem that you're trying to solve.
I think I am.
Well, because Faramar and Plesh, they have plenty of resources to stay out of her way.
Yes.
That's not the issue. But if you were trying to save Fraldrum's position, and you are trying to avert war, right?
Sure.
If they come and say, we're going to meet with you, we're going to take the risk that you're not going to capture us, we have nothing to do with Adabir's death, and we do not work with Algrid.
Okay.
Right? Then if she's convinced, then all this tension goes down. Fraldrum's off the hook.
Right.
Now it leaves the question of, does Meogral push for answers about what this mysterious threat is? But that's on the table already.
Right.
Right. So there's really no question about presently Plesh and Faramar's safety. It's preventing an outbreak of aggression between these
So
two.
maybe I should add on. It's like and 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 no further action or provocations, hopefully will be needed until that hearing is had.
That's sort of vague. What do you mean by that?
I meant I don't want to, I don't know what I mean. I mean, I don't want her, spying on and provoking Algrit,
Well, I mean, hell, you want her to spy.
Well,
because if she spies and continually gets no proof that Algrit is involved with these two, that's to your benefit.
Yeah, I guess. Man, it's a really hard role playing, Kevin. I'm sorry. I'm really struggling. Like these court politics. Like, so I want to avoid war. So I don't know what else I could say that would like persuade her. That's honestly like if they could meet with Farnar and Plesh, that would be the best. I want her to, like you said, continue spying on Ogred and see that there's no involvement
Sure.
with the two wizards. I mean, other than just, I would just, straight out say, I hope there's no, you know, cause for suspicion of other nobles that would lead to any kind of violence. I mean, should I bring up that what's her name? The gray elf said that Faranar is a key to avoiding war. I don't know.
I think it might be. I think it might be worth mentioning that, you know, if you haven't heard already, Faramar has a reputation for integrity.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And that's something she can kind of check out. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. I would ask her to encourage too. So tell me all that.
do you want to answer her point first out of respect, right? You want to say yes or no to doing your best to get Faramar and Plesh to present themselves.
Yes, I will do that for sure.
So you say, absolutely. I'll do anything I can to contact them.
Right.
And then you say, if you have not heard, my lady, Faramar has a reputation for integrity.
Right. Feel free to investigate them as well. You'll find that what I've said about them is true.
And she says, I know very well Faramar's reputation, both for integrity and for disrespect to her betters.
Right.
She does not seem pleased on that last point.
Yeah.
And there are, not necessarily that I'm suggesting you have to do it here, but there are, just like when Nia offered you her staff unbidden, right? She's like, this is the degree to which I am serious about my proposal.
Mm.
You can do things just as bold. In general, I don't mean necessarily here, but when you say, look, to some powerful entity, I'll be your prisoner until this is resolved, right? Or okay,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like this, or if you execute them, you have to execute me. Things like this, where
I was thinking about that. I was like, punish, if you're gonna punish Fraldrin, punish me as well. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to role play that. I don't know if
right.
It feels strange, and I don't know.
Sure. Well, it's
can't really describe it in another way.
There's a long-standing part of it is the sort of the poison that D&D has been to role playing, in that much of D&D role playing for the past 50 years has been an adversarial relationship with the game master.
Right.
In many cases where it's like you're trying to outsmart the game master, you're trying to survive the game master, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And because of that, it puts people in this only life preservation mode.
Yeah.
And that's why, think in all of your role playing and all of the role playing you've done, right? Have you ever had another character who's not just a goofball, right? Not those type of guys, but another character who says, will just turn to some player some NPC who has given them a hard time, and turns to them and says, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to shut it for you. Right? Yeah. They don't do that. Why? Because it puts them at risk.
Right.
And all of this adversarial style of role playing is risk avoidance. And it's very boring. I find it
Yeah.
just tedious, and it is hard to shake yourself out of that and say, "This is who my character is. This is what my character does." Is
It is absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
and um, as I always argue, there's I've played with people who are only used to that style, and it's laughable the way they think they can outsmart me when they don't need to. First off, but I'm like, what if I just decree you have a brain aneurysm? What are you gonna
oh
do
yeah,
with that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
right.
Um, so
Yeah, no, it's just it's definitely just basically putting my character in that risky situation
right,
is scary. I'm like, I
yeah,
really want to do that, but she might, because Brise is very honorable, and probably more than I am. So it's kind of hard to
it is very
understand
hard.
what that would entail when it comes to.
Yeah, I have. I mean, in my experiences thus far, when you have a pretty good control of tone in your voice. It's very
You mean
it's
writing or is
it's
it
what
like
it's well
speaking?
intentioned. Your tone is inherently well intentioned.
Hmm.
And if you can be forthright and maintain that tone without any aggression, then you can be just as honorable and forthright as Brees might should be,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Because you could turn to your boss and you could say things like, "Look, I'll do whatever you want to do, but that plan isn't going to work. You know,
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want, but I want to be upfront with you and tell you I don't think it's going to work."
Hmm.
You know, and I was at a party, this big party at work, and I was just sort of being me, and I was making fun of my boss and my boss's boss.
Right.
And then afterwards, I was in the break room, and this colleague of mine came up to me. She goes, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You were the only one in this building who can say anything they want and get away with it." And I said, "It's because I see to it that my tone reflects that I mean no harm." That's
Right. Right.
And anyway, that's an aside. What are you going
Don't
to do?
think I understand a little, but yeah.
I know it's a deep topic for a shallow
Yeah.
mind.
So,
Well,
but
well, well.
thank you.
Um,
Look, I'm only. I guess I can't argue that because my brain stopped developing at 25, right? So
that's right. You're done. You're done. You're cooked.
not getting any smarter. Um, let's. So I mean, I do keep that in mind.
Yeah,
And I don't really. Yeah, I don't really see an opportunity to bring it up right
sure.
now, unless I just want to reiterate that. Well, no, I mean, yeah, we already said Plesh and Farinor, so uh, and then yeah, no, I mean that's all I have to say. So
Um, she she looks at you and she says, "I'm not accustomed to putting my fate in other people's hands. My family has survived by doing just the opposite. Bring me the wizards."
okay,
You may go.
thank you, my lady. Get on out of there.
You're escorted back through all the goodies. Um, Roll for me.
Okay. 39.
Pretty sure that was a rat dashing behind a statue. You pass the statue, it's gone.
Mm.
Make it back to chambers. There's no real change. You do see Dotrick. He is still sort of disrobed. He's got some simple cloth robe on, not ornate at all. He's being escorted as well. He pauses just before he enters his room, and just calls to you. Are you well?
Yes.
Caw-caw!
Yeah. No, I say as good as I can be.
And the guard is kind of pushing him, and he's kind of holding on to the door frame.
Yeah.
And he just yells, "Batherin's awake, much better." And then the door shuts.
Oh, okay, that's good.
You're taken back to your quarters.
Is it possible to visit Burla? Now is it too? I guess it's late enough, right?
Oh, that's true. So
Yeah.
that guard is at the thing.
Right.
Is at your door.
Right.
And you're like, "Merlin?"
Yeah.
And he's like, he glances at the other guard and goes, "We'll work on it."
Okay.
Meaning let this other guard go.
Right.
So it doesn't get reported back.
Right.
Leaves. A few minutes pass. You there's a tap at the door. It opens. It's the guard. He nods you out to the hall.
Okay.
This might be a good time to grab a handful of coins. If you want to thank the guard.
Sure. Yeah, I guess so. That's right. I forgot. I completely forgot it was against the rules to visit other people. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll slip him a.
Now this is job threatening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gonna slip him 3 gold pieces.
At your service, my lady. Walks you down to Burlow's. They knock. You hear Burlow answer. You enter. He sits up from his breakfast and I mean he just sort of rushes to you and grabs you.
Yeah.
And he's clearly been crying fairly recently. He's like, how did you
It's a secret. I said I just wanted to know you're doing all right. Seemed so shaken up. Well, we all were last night, but you especially. So
I'm better, thank you. I've been trying to get permission from someone to let me write a letter to Felagel and let her know what happened and how sorry I am, but no one will give me an answer.
I turn to the guard behind me and say, can the master, whatever his name is, write a letter to the Master Atterbeer's daughter? Wouldn't that seem prudent?
If he's already asked, that means it's gone up to my boss.
Okay.
I can't push that answer any further.
Okay. Yeah.
And look,
really leave the keep. Yeah.
I would even be open to a bribe, but I don't think it would help. If I even took the guy 20 gold and then it turned out that you guys were secretly communicating, he'd be executed.
Yeah. Okay. And then I just tell then realize it'll have to wait then.
Why are they taking this so seriously? Why would they think that one of us did it? Surely the work he was doing was dangerous. Why are we being treated like prisoners?
And, just try to not say anything. I just say it's just, Mia Gall is a very, very cagey woman. And this is a grave thing that's happened. So.
He nods, he sits, he offers you some breakfast, you decline. He does seem to be doing better. He seems to be, at least beginning a process as opposed to being just traumatized and
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so you feel comforted having seen him,
Right.
and
Right.
then the guard, kind of clears his throat, escorts you back.
Right.
Back to your room you go, unless of course you want to try something.
Well, I am curious about seeing Aldruff, but since he's at Fraldrum's place, my only bet is hoping Fraldrum comes by. I could ask the guard, I guess, to send, a note to Fraldrum asking if, I guess it would be discreet about it, right?
Yeah, it's how can you ask?
The
I guess
tailor,
I guess the only way is to ask to see Fraldrum.
right?
Um,
Right.
and so he says he'll pass the word on.
Okay.
He'll send a runner.
Thank you.
And you go back to your room, and yeah,
That's about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there now, and
yeah, it's kind of weird. I wonder if we could do. I mean, I don't know if it'd be cheating the audience or not. Like if we just did some session off screen where we deal with
right.
some of the waiting, and maybe we could push that through for the sake of our audience. Do you want
Yeah, I
to?
was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to stop here, or do you want to roll through some hours? What would you like to do?
I think it's good if we stop here.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it's kind of the lowest, point of activity. So it's a good stopping point.
Yeah, natural break. And
yeah, because what time are we like at before lunch, right?
Yeah, I mean it's probably. It's probably still very early morning. I mean, she hadn't even finished her breakfast.
Right.
We
all know goblins eat slow, anyways.
I do. They're slow eaters. That's one of, despite their name of Gobble.
Goblin, yeah.
Yeah, they're very
gobbling it down.
That's right. Well, gang, thanks for hanging out with us. Another crazy episode here, and really a lot of crazy stuff going on. But thanks as always. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So do remember to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You can hop the donor box and send us some love that way if you like what we're doing. If you want to see more of Max's beautiful face, you can always go to his YouTube channel there, and you see the bit link there as well as in the description below. Where he discusses the role of music and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks, as always, to Elliot Dunovitz for the terrific character art for Brise that we use throughout the stream. And you can see more of her stuff at artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a book. You can find it on Amazon. And there's a quick link to it below in the description as well. Next time we will see what happens with Brise, episode 55 next Wednesday. Max, what do you want to say to these lovely people?
Well, I hope we'll see if we roll through some stuff outside of stream, and hope you come back for Hopefully there'll be less hemming and hawing next time. Get some stuff done, get some action. But yeah, excited to see where things go, and hope to see you all next week.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We appreciate you as always, and we will see you next week, guys.